All right, let's dive in deep with someone who I think really embodies this idea of a superwoman,
Right.
Vlada Tarasenko.
Wow.
So we're talking about a neuropsychologist, a defectologist, and a pathopsychodiagnostician.
Wow.
She's been helping children with developmental delays for over 3 decades.
Yeah.
And oh yeah, did I mention she's a mother of 8?
It's almost hard to fathom, isn't it? 8 children
Yeah.
and a career that has spanned over 30 years
Yeah.
with a focus on some of the most complex challenges in child development.
Right.
Vlada's story is just one of incredible dedication,
Yeah.
both to her family and to her profession.
So right from the start, you realize
Right.
this is no ordinary expert.
Right.
I mean, 32 years of experience.
Wow.
Starting at the very first rehabilitation center for children with developmental delays in Ukraine,
Uh-huh.
a center established with support from UNICEF.
Talk about being a pioneer.
I know, right?
Absolutely.
So it wasn't even just about treating children. It was about building a system of care that at the time was practically non-existent.
I can't imagine the challenges she must have faced,
Right.
especially in those early years.
It makes you wonder where she even found the time to sleep, let alone
Yeah.
pursue all those
Wow.
degrees and specializations.
Right.
We're talking bachelor's and master's degrees in psychology,
Yeah.
postgraduate work, medical psychology,
Yeah.
and then a whole slew of additional courses.
Wow.
I mean, tomatoes therapy, immunology for clinicians.
Interesting.
These aren't your typical weekend workshops.
It's fascinating how she seems to be connecting the dots
Right.
between these seemingly unrelated fields.
Right.
So, like tomatoes therapy, for example, uses tailored sound stimulation
Okay.
to potentially retrain the auditory system and improve processing, which can have a ripple effect on attention,
Wow.
language development,
Yeah.
and even motor skills.
Okay.
Then you have immunology,
Yeah.
which on the surface is worlds apart.
Totally different.
But when you consider the intricate interplay between the immune system,
Right.
brain development, and overall well-being, it starts to make a lot of sense. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she's building this multifaceted toolbox,
Yes.
drawing from different disciplines
Yeah.
to create a more holistic approach to treating children.
Exactly. And that's where her innovation really shines through.
Okay.
We're not just talking about applying existing methods here.
Right.
Vlada has developed over a dozen
Wait, really?
patented speech therapy and rehabilitation programs.
A dozen?
Yeah.
Wow.
That's a level of invention that's pretty remarkable,
Yeah.
especially considering the demanding nature of her other,
Right.
shall we say, full-time job.
I know, seriously, how does she do it? 8 kids, and she's still finding time to revolutionize the field of speech restoration.
I know.
This woman's energy levels must be off the charts.
Absolutely.
But let's get into the specifics of some of these groundbreaking methods,
Oh,
because that's where I think it gets really interesting.
yeah.
So we've got high-frequency therapy,
Uh-huh.
visual stimulation,
Yeah, okay.
micropolarization,
Yeah,
and oxygen therapy.
right.
What exactly are we talking about?
Well, let's start with high-frequency therapy.
Right.
So this involves using specific sound frequencies
Uh-huh.
to stimulate those neural pathways associated with auditory processing.
Right.
The idea is that by targeting these pathways
Yeah.
with precisely calibrated sounds,
Right.
you can potentially improve the brain's ability to process and interpret auditory information,
Wow.
which is crucial for speech and language development.
That makes sense.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like giving the brain a targeted workout,
Right.
helping it strengthen those connections
Yeah.
that are so essential for understanding and producing speech.
So it's not just any random noise.
Right.
It's very specific frequencies designed to
Exactly.
stimulate those key areas.
Yeah, and then you have visual stimulation, which might sound pretty straightforward,
Yeah.
but it's actually quite sophisticated.
Right.
We're talking about using carefully designed images,
Uh-huh.
patterns,
Right.
and even light
Okay.
to engage the visual system and support communication.
I can see how that would be especially helpful for children who maybe have some difficulty processing auditory information.
Yeah,
It's like providing an alternative pathway to
exactly.
learning and communication.
Right, and it can also help to strengthen those connections between visual and auditory processing centers in the brain.
That makes sense.
Now, micropolarization is where things get really high-tech.
Okay.
This is a non-invasive technique
Mhm.
that uses weak electrical currents to modulate brain activity.
Okay.
It's been studied for its potential to improve a whole range of cognitive functions,
Wow.
from attention and memory to even motor skills.
So we're talking about actually influencing brain activity
Yeah,
with these tiny electrical currents.
that's right.
That sounds almost like science fiction.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But it's based on solid scientific principles.
Right.
The idea is that these weak currents
Huh.
can gently nudge brain activity in a positive direction,
Right.
helping to optimize neural networks and improve overall function.
Interesting.
It's still a relatively new field,
Yeah.
but the potential applications are really exciting.
So then there's oxygen therapy.
Okay.
Is this like what athletes use to recover after intense training?
It's similar, but in this context, it likely refers to providing supplemental oxygen,
Right.
potentially in a hyperbaric chamber setting.
Okay.
The idea is that by increasing the availability of oxygen to the brain,
Mm-hmm.
you can potentially enhance brain function and promote healing.
Wow.
It's been explored as a treatment for a variety of conditions,
Like that.
including traumatic brain injury and stroke.
So we're talking about a pretty diverse range of techniques here,
Yeah,
each with its own unique mechanism of action.
right.
But what ties them all together and what I find really compelling is that Vlada is emphasizing non-drug methods.
That's a really important point.
Yeah.
There's a growing movement towards more holistic approaches in
Oh.
child development,
Yeah.
recognizing the interconnectedness of mind and body,
Right.
and seeking out interventions
Okay.
that are gentle,
Right.
non-invasive,
Yeah.
and that address the root causes of developmental challenges
Right.
rather than just masking symptoms.
And I think a lot of parents are really resonating with that approach.
Yeah,
You know, they're looking for alternatives to traditional pharmaceutical interventions,
right.
especially for their young children.
Yeah.
It's like a shift in mindset from treating symptoms to actually supporting the brain's natural ability
Right.
to heal and develop.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Vlada is clearly at the forefront of that movement.
It's not just about the techniques themselves.
Right.
It's about her whole philosophy of care,
Exactly.
which emphasizes individualized treatment plans,
Yeah.
close collaboration with families,
Mm-hmm.
and a deep respect for each child's
Right.
unique strengths and challenges.
It's like she's not just treating the child.
Right.
She's empowering the entire family
Yeah.
to be active participants in the healing process.
And that's where her impact goes far beyond the walls of her therapy centers.
Absolutely.
Think about the thousands of children she's helped over the years,
Wow.
not to mention the countless families who have
Yeah.
benefited from her expertise.
Yeah.
And it's not even just limited to those who can physically visit her centers.
Right.
She's also got this amazing online presence
Uh-huh.
through social media and videos,
Yeah.
which makes her knowledge and experience accessible to a global audience.
That's a crucial part of her mission.
Yeah.
It's about breaking down barriers to information
Right.
and empowering parents and caregivers around the world
Yeah.
with the tools and knowledge they need to support their children's development.
Right.
She's creating a real community around these issues, a space for sharing learning and support.
You know, it's easy to get caught up in the technical details of her work,
Yeah.
the specific therapies and patents and all that.
Right.
But what really strikes me
Yeah.
is the heart behind it all.
Uh-huh.
This woman is clearly driven by a deep compassion
Absolutely.
and a desire to make a real difference
Yeah.
in the lives of these children and their families.
It's that unwavering dedication, that relentless pursuit of better solutions that really sets her apart. And
Yeah.
it's a powerful reminder
Yeah.
that true progress often comes from those who dare to challenge the status quo and push the boundaries of what's possible.
So to wrap things up,
Okay.
we've got Vlada Tarasenko,
Uh-huh.
a mother of 8,
Yeah.
a pioneer in the field of speech restoration,
Wow.
and a true champion for children with developmental delays.
Absolutely.
It's a story that's both inspiring and humbling,
Yeah.
and it makes you wonder,
Yeah.
what's her secret?
I know.
How does she manage to balance it all
Right.
and still have the energy
Yeah.
to innovate and make such a profound impact
Mhm.
on the world?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
It really makes you reconsider what's possible
Yeah.
when you combine passion, dedication,
Oh.
and a seemingly endless well of energy.
You know, it's funny
Yeah.
because when you hear mother of 8, you might picture someone completely overwhelmed,
Ugh.
struggling just to like keep their head above water.
Yeah.
But Vlada has turned that experience into like a source of strengths, insight, and innovation.
Right.
It's like she's tapped into a level of resilience and resourcefulness that
Yeah.
most of us can only dream of.
It challenges our assumptions about what women can achieve,
Right.
especially when balancing family and career ambitions.
Right.
Vlada's not just succeeding in both spheres,
Right.
she's excelling.
Yeah.
And in a field that's incredibly demanding,
Right.
both intellectually and emotionally.
And let's not forget the cultural context here.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
We're talking about someone who built her career in Ukraine,
Yeah.
facing challenges and societal expectations
Mm-hmm.
that are vastly different from what many of us experience,
Right.
in the West.
That adds another layer of complexity to her story, doesn't it?
Yeah,
It makes her achievements even more remarkable.
totally.
And it speaks to a kind of determination and grit that goes beyond personal ambition. It's about creating opportunities not just for herself and her family,
Right.
but for countless other children and families
Yeah.
facing similar challenges.
It's that ripple effect,
Right.
that legacy of impact
Yeah.
that really resonates with me.
That's incredible.
Vlada's not just treating individual children,
Mm-hmm.
she's changing the landscape of care.
Right.
For children with developmental delays,
Absolutely.
she's inspiring other professionals, empowering families,
Yeah.
and ultimately creating a world where these children have a better chance to thrive.
And she's doing it all with a focus on non-drug interventions, which is a really important message
I agree.
in our increasingly pharmaceutical-driven world.
Yes.
She's showing us that there are other options,
Huh.
other pathways to healing and development,
Yeah.
and that sometimes the most effective solutions
Right.
are the ones that work in harmony with the body's natural processes.
It's a message that's resonating with parents all over the world.
Right.
And I think that's one of the most exciting aspects of Vlada's work.
Yeah.
She's not just treating children.
Mm-hmm.
She's shifting the paradigm, sparking a conversation,
Right.
and inspiring a movement
Yeah.
toward a more holistic and compassionate approach
Actually.
to child development.
Absolutely. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think it's only fitting
Yeah.
that we extend our heartfelt wishes for a happy and successful new year.
To Vlada,
Yeah.
may your new year be filled with continued success
Yes.
in your groundbreaking work abundance in all areas of your life.
So,
And of course, overflowing joy and happiness with your beautiful family.
cheers to that.
And to all of you listening,
Yeah.
may Vlada's story inspire you to embrace your passions, pursue your dreams with unwavering dedication,
Uh-huh.
and never underestimate the power you have to make a difference in the world.
Absolutely.
Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New Year.